Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4, the proper episode 4 of the Late Night Serial Podcast. I'm saying the proper episode 4 because we actually recorded an episode 4 like last week or whatever it was, or a couple of weeks ago, and it failed on us. You know, we're new to this, and we didn't have a backup. We've got an audio backup now, which hopefully will work. But if hopefully this one goes well and you can see us and this video is all worked and everything. But we actually did record it, which is so annoying because like it doesn't feel like we missed one, but it feels like you guys, anyone who's just like watching all these, listening to all these, you missed one. But there was a podcast out there in the world. There's an energy of that podcast somewhere, and half of it does exist. Like 20 minutes of it does exist. While Plunger's side does exist, but mine failed to upload.
Maybe you should do an edit where you just sort of like, you're just going, yeah,
Do you know what? I mentioned that on a stream and people said, why don't you do that? And it's just like one gif of me going, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh yeah. And it's just like, but it'd be weird when you're kind of like, you leave your pauses for me to talk. And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do you think, Steve?
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. But you know what, with that aside, what cereal have you got?
Yeah, well, see, right, we did a thing before. We see if we can work it. Oh, I still got a fancy bowl. See if you can work out what they are.
Yeah, okay. Oh my God, okay. Do you know what's weird?
Oh, but mine are probably not as good as yours, though.
No, mine are Aldi, mate. I'm from Aldi, so
mine are B&M's.
Oh, are they? Oh, high five! We went for non-brands. Okay, mine are like.
I went for it's one of them things that you sell on packaging, but they could have done such a great idea with this. But I just found it funny. I picked up the packaging. It's Hot. Well, it's probably backwards. Hot Wheels honey rings. But you think
we should talk more about? I will say we've just been like reacting to it, and anyone who's listening to the audio one was like, "Well, what is it then?"
Oh yeah, sorry, I better actually read it out, shouldn't I?
For the people listening, we've just held up our bowls, and we both have like hoops, basically like what do you call them?
There's honey nut hoops. These ones are called honey rings.
Honey rings. Mine aren't honey. Mine are the other ones. What based on the other ones? Cheerios.
Oh yeah, Cheerio. Yeah, that's what I thought these would be like.
Well, we'll read it out. We'll read the Hot Wheels ones.
Yeah, so the Hot Wheel ones, it's honey ring cereal. We've added vitamins. Of course they have. Well, one thing I'm very kind of disappointed. You'd expect what would be the perfect free toy in here. Literally a Hot Wheels, because it has the brand of Hot Wheels all over the packaging. But instead, though, they thought of that. By on the back of it, and I have to describe it.
Wow.
They've but you cut out this like track, and down here you can cut these little cars out, and then you can pretend you're racing with your friend on the back of the cereal box.
I thought it would be like a track that was to scale of an actual Hot Wheels car.
No, the car is about the size of my finger.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, what else are you going to do? Otherwise, if you did want to scale, it wouldn't be much of a track with it.
But they do tell you, it does say, cut me out and drive me. So there you go. So you go in case you don't know what you're doing with it. But it's got all the classic things on it, like bats, scorpions, and snakes. Because I always think of that Hot Wheels.
Wasn't it? Like a NES game with all those things.
It's like if they brought a NES game out version of it.
Cut me out and drive me. Sounds like quite nefarious, that doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Me out and drive me. How much were they?
Oh,
do you remember?
I don't know. I just picked them up. Really, I think they were.
I'll have to look at them.
Oh, I don't know.
Are they made by Kellogg's or anything like that? Is it just?
It's really random. On the packaging, there's no brand on there at all. Like, it's got Hot Wheels, but on the side, it says it's just got the Hot Wheels brand on there. But it doesn't have what it's called. Whatever Brands Limited. That's a hell of a name, isn't it? Yeah. That's literally what we're going by. That's all it says it's by. I've no idea. There's no other branding else on it, other than these really bad CG drawn. They're not even actually toy cars. They're actually CG drawn ones.
I like the skull on them though, the front. That's
Yeah,
quite
I
cool.
know that's a pretty badass one. I like that
Yeah,
one. Yeah, and then it's like a shark type one at the
yeah,
back. But
that's
yeah,
nice. Mine
but
were a
yeah,
bit.
what's your one?
I didn't bring the box up unfortunately, which I might do
Ah,
next time actually. But yeah, I've been going through all the Aldi cereals, and I
mm.
got some Choco Rice recently, which I might show next time. But
Oh,
but these are just fake Cheerios, and because we just started the podcast, we were chatting before the podcast. They've been sitting in the milk for a bit, so they're a bit too soggy. I love it when they've got a crunch. You need a
oh
crunch.
yeah, that's why I put the milk in last minute.
I
Yeah,
should have done
I
that.
found it.
It's a schoolboy error, and then they're all they're all soggy, and I don't like them. That.
But
They
now
just
you
like
don't like it when I do this. When I do this, because I always nick the milk and bring it up.
oh yeah, because yeah,
So where's the milk?
there you go. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, something like we're kind of all right because we get normal milk as well as this milk because Lynn's won't drink the other milk, which is good. So it's all for me. Which
Oh,
is good.
nice.
I know,
Good
but
old self.
I've eaten tea and everything. It's great. But yeah, that's my cereal today, which I'm not going to eat any more of it now. It's a soggy mess. I'll be honest.
Oh,
It was a mistake.
these are really nice. You know, you have to
Well,
obviously like
thanks.
funny, which is obvious.
Thanks for rubbing that in.
These are, and they're
And,
really crunchy.
oh,
I
are
do
they?
like when they're freshly crunchy. Yeah.
What an interesting detail to mention.
Mm.
Yeah, thanks. Right, so we're gonna try. Oh, we try it shorten the podcast a little bit this week because I'm gonna do like less edits on the thing. Just we can. I want to get it out earlier this week. I would love to try and get it out on Friday before we go to Play Expo. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to mention the Play Expo, but I think we kind of should mention it a little bit. At the weekend in Blackpool, it's basically TwitchCon for retro streamers and retro viewers and that. But retro people, anyone who's into retro gaming, it's the TwitchCon for that, basically. That's what we've kind of created from that.
Yeah,
But
retro TwitchCon.
I can't wait. So a lot of us are going for the whole weekend. I'm going for the Saturday at the expo, and then the Sunday I'm going to the arcade club. Are you going up on the Friday?
Yeah, we're going up. Yeah, going up Friday. We should get there around like the evenish time, maybe like 6, 7 o'clock ish, depending
Nice.
on traffic.
Yeah.
Just so we can get in and get settled, and then hopefully try and meet up with some people Friday night.
Are you doing arcade club on Friday night? Because normally everyone does that as well.
No, I think the kind of plan we've got is meeting up with because Super's going to be driving us up there, so we're going to go with him, and we're going to meet up with Julio and go for something to eat. And I think there's a restaurant at one of the hotels they're at, so I think we're going to go with that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that'll be quite good because I think like last year and the year before, everyone just went to the arcade club every night, and that's
nah,
it's like it's costly.
yeah, it's quite expensive. I just want because we were. Yeah, we want to just try and like get some coffees en route, you know,
and change it up and all that. Yeah,
yeah, and I can't remember what we did because I didn't go last year. I went the previous year, and I can't remember at all how Friday night. I think we got there because we didn't leave till like 5 o'clock because of Daniel finishing work, and I was at the time. I think by the time we got there, it was like 8, 9 o'clock, and we were just so tired. We just wanted to go straight up to the room and that. And
happens,
I don't even saw anybody Friday night. I think it went till Saturday.
Hey, do you know what? I didn't even plan this, but I think we should kind of like chat about what's happening on the day. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Because we're both just going for the Saturday, really, and then spend the next day in arcade club. So on the Saturday, you've got the panel for the Control AI Delete movie. That's Jason Bradbury's thing. I don't know anything about it.
I heard about that.
I'm interested in it, though. I think that'll be quite an interesting thing to find out about. So I've kind of like purposely kind of stayed away because I think it'd be quite an interesting one to take. If I can get there at 12, because we're driving down and we're like notoriously always late, and we'll probably stop off somewhere halfway and have a cup of tea and then go, oh yeah, we'll walk in, and then it'll be like over. But I'm hoping not. I want to get there for that.
Yeah.
Then we've got Jonathan. I don't know who Jonathan Dunn is. I should have looked up this and then Roland.
Well, I haven't looked up none of this stuff.
I know. But I'm going to watch these talks. I'm going to try. That's the aim, to try and watch these talks. And then you've got breaking into the games industry, and that's with what's his name? John Romero is there.
How was he doing that talk? I didn't know that. That's good.
He's doing that talk with his wife, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get his book. I'm guessing he's going to bring his book.
Yeah, well, I know it was 2 years when I went previously, but on his table he had like some Doom merchandise, his book, and another book I think that was there, and stuff like that. So he normally carries a few bits there.
Yeah, so I want to pick that up and obviously get it signed and things like that. So it'll be quite good. But that's what the talks going on Saturday. You've also got some tournaments going on the main screen, which is like Halo, Mario Kart, Hyper Street Fighter 2. Here's a question: do you know when you hear the abbreviation MK What do you think of?
Well, I think, and I think normally, well, it's sort of Mario Kart or Mortal Kombat, but
I instantly go Mario. Sorry, I'm going to say Mario Kart. Then it's not. I instantly go Mortal Kombat every time.
yeah.
And it's weird when people say MK and they're meaning Mario Kart because I don't think I've ever abbreviated it. It's never been one of
No, I've
abbreviated.
never. I would say Mario Kart. I'm saying Mario Kart.
Yeah. But Mortal
Basically.
Kombat, I feel like that can be abbreviated. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. But yeah, it was just a bit of confusion when someone was talking about it earlier. But yeah, I'm going to go. I can't wait for it. We're going for this weekend. I'm glad. I wanted to get this podcast out the way, done before we go, and not be something that comes out on Saturday when we're already there. So the next time we do have the podcast, we can talk about how it went, what things we picked up. Are you going in to pick up a lot of things or what?
Well, I want to. Yeah, I want to try and pick up at least like. It sounds silly, but at least one game. I know, it could be cheap or expensive, don't matter. But I kind of want to. But I want to look through my wanted list because the problem is when people say, "Oh, what games you after?" Off the top of my head, I can't really think of it at all.
No.
But then I look through my wanted list. Say, I know it's a weird way to do it, but I use CX as like a wanted list. So I sometimes mark favourites on there, even if I won't buy it through there. It's like, oh, I might, I want to get that, and I think the ones that I know that I would love to go for, but again, price wise, would be I would love to get a copy of Alien Soldier on the Mega Drive, but I would love to get it like for less than £100.
Wow!
But I don't think that's even going to happen because it's a very expensive game. Because I put a bit of money, I actually saved money aside just separately for that. But really, when you go to these markets, the biggest thing I like to try look for is more like interesting promo bits, things like that. That's the thing, because it's something you wouldn't necessarily, because you don't always know, if you want to buy something, you know what you're looking for when you go on eBay, you write in what you want. But some merch stuff, you don't always think of it. Like, say I might spot, I don't know, like a Croc t-shirt that it was a promo or something like that. Or a standee, because I've got a few standees from there, because it wasn't something I really look on eBay for. And it's that sort of thing, or even just little merch.
I'm with you there, because I get in the posters or a t-shirt, and I'm saying I want to get a book, and I like the idea. If I see magazines, I'm kind of all over them, see if there's anything. Yeah. You like magazines as well, yeah. I always come out and I see you with them, and go, oh, I should have got them. So I'm going to be looking out for those, and maybe the odd game. But I'm to be honest, this time round, I'm not really going to be spending much time in a trade hall, because I'm going to try and make me use of the time all around the expo, like on all the games and on the talks and chatting to people. And I'm not going to be planning to spend that much money. But that's a Play Expo. We kind of wanted to get that out of the way, because I think we should have mentioned that. I didn't even put that on our notes, but I thought
no, we didn't. I thought we was going to talk about it either way, to be honest.
But a quickly, what have you been up to the last? Well, God, it's a couple of weeks. I've talked about Mega Man a lot. We talk about Mega Man.
Yeah. Well, I can change it up, because this week.
Did we talk about it on the last podcast? We probably did mention it a bit.
The problem is, I'm confused now with the lost episode now, because I remember talking about it then, but I don't know.
It's like a dream, but other people might not play the time. But go on. What else have you been up to?
Well, I was say this week's a little bit more interesting this week because of it being October. I started a day earlier with the like Halloween, horror-based games.
And people complain about it, Wendy.
I know, they're like, it's not October yet, and I even put it as a pinned comment saying Happy October Eve.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but still
celebrate Christmas Eve, didn't you? You open a couple of early presents.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose you don't have a Christmas month Eve.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to plan out games I want to do, because I think we've spoken about this before, but I do actually get more excited nowadays. I get more excited over doing stuff on Halloween than Christmas now. I still like Christmas, but
it's easier for games on Halloween, isn't it? Because there's not that many Christmas games.
Yeah, it's not that many.
And I get it, because like you're not going to create games that you can only play once a year, where horror games you can play all year, but you can like have more fun with it around October. But it's an all year round experience, really, where Christmas, no one's going to play a Father Christmas game in January or something. It's so depressing, isn't it?
It feels wrong. It just feels very wrong playing.
But you can play like Resident Evil or something like that and still have a great time. So yeah, it's kind of, but you can have more fun with games in October. Yeah, but so what's your plans then
Yeah,
for October?
so the games I've got set up to play, and as I said, I started on Monday. So I've got 3 games I've got lined up. I don't want to put any more because of obviously I want to try and make sure they're finished by the end of October.
Yeah.
So the first one is Castlevania: The Adventure on Game Boy.
So is that the first Castlevania Game Boy
That's the
game?
first. Yeah, but it's not a conversion of Castlevania that's on the NES.
No, it's
It's a
not. No, it's
completely
its own thing.
dedicated
I
game.
remember seeing a mate of mine playing it in the schoolyard when I was a kid, and I thought it looked awesome. Because, like, now, people just look at that and go, "Oh, it looks like basic or whatever." But back then, a portable game like that was incredible. I remember thinking, "Oh, I wish I had a copy of that." You just when you saw something like that when you was a kid, and you didn't have, you just wanted to take it home and play it all night. So like, how are you getting on with it? It's supposed to be tough, though, isn't it?
It is quite tough because the problem is it's got a lot of slowdown at times, but it's got it plays because it's got that Castlevania feel with the character moving. My best way to describe it is if you're trying to run around a castle wearing slippers without backs on. Like you're kind of sliding forward type of thing. It's kind of like you can't go any quicker because your slippers you can't move that quick.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it feels. And when you jump, you can't decide, I don't want to jump that way and change yourself in midair. Once you jump left, that's it.
You've got to make a decision.
You've got to do it. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm playing that via the Konami Collection Volume 1 because at the time that was the cheapest way to get it. And it's a Game Boy. It's a black cartridge, but it's a original Game Boy game that has 4 games on it, and one of them is Castlevania.
Okay.
So it works out
I suppose you can get hold of this digitally with the Castlevania collection as well. Is it on that? Do you know?
Yes, it's on the first collection that they came out. I can't remember what they call it.
The one with Kid Dracula and all that on it as well.
Yes, that one. I'm pretty sure it's on that one.
That's a great collection, man.
Yeah, well, I was gonna get it through there, but I kind of because obviously you can save it in that. Because the problem you got with this one is that it doesn't even have passwords.
No, so you've got to do it in one go.
Yeah, but the only saving grace is unlimited continues on that level you're on.
Okay, so you can leave it on.
So if you keep dying and you're on level 3, stage 3.
Is it a short game? Because it's a Game Boy game, isn't it? And they're kind of short. They can be.
It probably is. It's probably only about 5 levels. I haven't looked into it ahead of time, but I've got to stage 3 and it took me like most of the evening.
Are you leaving it on somehow, or are you going to start again each time you play
I think with it, it's a bit like, I'm trying to think of another game. It's like, you're not quite sure how to do sections when you first play it. But when you learn how to do it, like taking on the bosses, you learn how to take them out, you do it quicker because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so it makes it more enjoyable as well, and you get to see more of the game. And I want to play that at some point as well. So, what else are you going to be playing?
Got that one, and then I've got. I'm playing Evil Dead. Oh, let me get the name of it.
I missed you playing
Evil Dead Regeneration, which I have next to me, surprisingly.
So I missed you playing this because I went in to see you play this yesterday after me band practice, and you were watching Gladiators. So I was like, "Oh, come on! I want to see a little bit of this."
Oh, I was on Gladiators for quite a while.
I don't know. Is it any good?
Do you know what this one is? The original one plays a bit like a really bad Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And then there's another one that kind of plays a little bit like that on PS2, but I haven't got that one, so I can't fully.
I didn't know there was that
many.
To be honest, I thought there was only a couple. Wow.
There's 3 altogether. Of the old ones, but this one is the best of the 3 because it plays a little bit like a mixture of Devil May Cry with kind of like sort of a beat 'em up type of feel to it. And it's really good. Unlimited ammo. You got combos with the chainsaw and the shotgun. It's fully voiced by Bruce Campbell.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I thought it was going to be a really bad impressionist doing like the Die Hard trilogy with the guy.
Performance? Is it a good performance by him?
Yeah, it's literally him being himself.
Yeah,
it's him being himself basically. And also the weird thing, there's a little character in it, which, and obviously only if you see it on the video, but that little guy there, he's like a little evil. He's like an undead character who's there to help you to restore what's happened in the game.
That's cool.
And it's actually voiced by Ted Raimi.
Oh yeah, Sam Raimi's brother.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And he's a bit like an Italian wise guy sort of voice he's put on.
What?
Yeah, I know it's so random, but
I never played that like new version that came out. Like, was it a couple of years ago now? You know, that one where you're going to team up with people. It looked really good, but I just never got around to it.
the problem is it was more of a multiplayer type
Yeah.
game. It wasn't really a dedicated single player because it actually was. I think it was like free on Epic or one of those.
Yeah, I think I did get it, but yeah,
Yeah, I got it and I haven't played it either. But it only looked like,
Epic.
say, a bit more of a multiplayer.
Yeah, like
part
Dead
to
by
it.
Daylight style thing, and it feels like you need to play with mates, and yeah, it looked great. And I watched some people play it on Steam, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. But like, I never got around to playing it myself.
But this one's really good, like cartoon style. The camera work is just like the movies. The quick zoom ins on it, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. Really, really good. I wasn't expecting it because I literally went in there completely blind. Cause there is why I even got that game because I actually got that in a charity shop. That one time I asked the woman in one of the shops, I went, "Have you got any games you haven't put out yet?" And normally they just look at you and go, "No," or "What's a game?" You know, that sort of thing. This one time, the woman didn't look very happy with me. She walked into the back room, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" And then, as she come out, she turned around and brought out a handful of games, and one of them was that BMX Triple X, and what's it called? Rogue Galaxy, which is like a.
Rogue Galaxy.
Game.
Wow, that was a really good game back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember being in Sony, like, and that was there.
Oh, did you? Yeah, because I've never played it, but again, and they were £1 each, and they're all complete and in great condition, and that was my best.
Shows you, like, just going into charity shops and asking rather than looking around. I never think to do that because I think they're going to say no.
You should do it because all they ever do is to say to you, "No, we haven't."
No.
But I don't know. I always sort of chicken out when I do it. Yeah. I go to do it and I think, "Oh no, I'll leave it." Sometimes you should really, because some of the best deals. Because some people, because they don't know what they've got in the shop, they just kind of just put it in the back and go, "Oh, we'll get it out later," because they've already got 20 copies of FIFA on the shelf. They won't put a new thing out until them 20 FIFAs disappear.
It's weird because I don't really collect for like anything after, I suppose, the SNES.
Yeah. You don't find anything older.
But to be honest, though, if I saw Evil Dead or even Rogue Galaxy now for £1, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be picking those up because that's so cheap, and why not? I might actually get around to playing those ones. But yeah, each time I've looked for any games, it's just, you know, your general Wii stuff, you know, the Wii Fits and all that stuff. I don't know. I've learned not to look at the PS2 section anymore because it's either sports or, you know, fitness stuff.
But then you'd be surprised because I've done it before where he's got a ton of FIFAs or sports, any sports stuff, and right in the middle of it, be something really good. Because they don't necessarily know. They just put it out on the shelf.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing. I go all the time, to charity shops, and I'm getting to that point now where it's just the same stuff. Like, I look at my VHS sections, and I'm like, and I haven't picked up a video for ages. And I know that one time I go, I'll just go in there, and then there'll be like loads of stuff out of nowhere. You've just got to keep going, haven't you? And you've got to keep
you're consistent. Because one of them I don't normally go into because normally they're not very good because they've got like it's a very small one, and the things they got in are just not really like for us, really.
Yeah.
And I thought I'll never go in there. That one time I thought, I've one look in there, and I ended up coming out with a few bits. I can't remember the word.
They're the best days, aren't they?
And I was like, that's it now.
That's it.
I've got to go in now.
Yeah, I know. You have to. Yeah, and then you go in for the next 10 weeks. There's nothing in there.
Yeah. They just point every other time after that.
But I always say that it's like the same with car boots, and the people see what you've picked up and go, "Oh, I can't believe they're so lucky," but they don't see the 99 times you've been beforehand and picked up nothing.
Yeah, because people go to charity shops one day and go, "Oh, it's terrible. There's nothing in there."
Yeah,
but you can't just go one day. You've got to go. And when people said to me, like, "Oh, you've found some great stuff in there," it's because at the time I was going in every single Friday.
Yeah,
and it just happened to be that one day there was something decent in there.
Yeah. I went today and there was nothing. Literally nothing. No.
But tomorrow might be different.
Mate, yeah, exactly. Might be something, and I've done that before as well. But I've went one weekend and I've went in every shop I go in, which normally has nothing, and I come out with bunches of stuff, and it's like, what is going on? You know, what's going on? It's just been lucky one day. But anyway, is there anything else you want to mention that you've been playing recently? Quickly?
One more, which I haven't started it yet, because it will be tomorrow or this week. It'll be. I want to play it, but I'm very nervous too because I'm not very good with proper horror games. And that's Project Zero 3, also known as Fatal Frame 3 in America.
Haven't you played the other two?
Yeah, I've done 1 and 2, and that's the third one in the PlayStation 2 kind of trilogy. There's more after that, but that was the last one in the PS2 set.
I always get confused with those games because they're quite similar kind of vibes to them.
Well, they're the exact same. Well, it's like the Japanese movie, like The Ring, or things like that. And essentially, you're a character with a camera, and it's like an old style camera, and basically you have to take pictures of ghosts. And when you do that, it like removes their soul, and it's to stop them from getting you, basically.
That old chestnut.
The old usual thing with your camera, because they do actually say that when you take, some people don't like pictures being taken because they feel like they're taking your soul.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Playing for that trope.
Yeah,
but I never thought I was scared of ghosts until I played that game.
Yeah,
and also it randomizes where they come from, so you could be getting lost in the level, trying to find where to go to next, go through the same hallway you've been for about 20 times, getting lost, and that 19th time a ghost to come out.
Oh.
So you know, it's not like, oh, I know, if I walk through this door, this is going to trigger, this is going to come out. You don't know.
That. So have you got to progress? Have you got to like get rid of the ghosts, or they just something in the way?
It's finding out what's happened to someone who's gone missing. Perhaps I don't know about the third one yet, but you got to find out, and you're basically unraveling the story. And you, every time you take out ghosts, you get like upgrades to your camera. Like you can shoot more, you get more points, and then and you basically upgrade your camera. But essentially, you can get away from some of them, but some of them you need to take out in order to get a clue or an item to go into another room with it, that sort of thing.
That's cool.
But it's good. It's very. You have to love your Japanese horror though, because it's quite slow. It's quite a slow game, like Japanese horrors are. They don't jump straight into it.
Yeah, that's quite good though, isn't it? Like the pacing's going to be a lot different, not just jump scares constantly.
It's not always about jump scares.
No.
There are the obvious to do, but sometimes a ghost just come out, and it's not exactly a loud noise like I don't know.
It's a sense of dread when it's happening.
Yeah,
I quite like that.
Yeah, it's one of those. So I haven't started that one yet, so I'm not sure that one is, but I really enjoyed the other two. But they're not everyone's cup of tea because again, they're quite slow. They don't hold your hand where you got to go. You've got to work out the clues and then go from there. But so I haven't started one yet, but that's what I'm doing. But that's it for me. That's the 3. I kind of want to. If I do complete them before the end of October, then I've got some backup ones.
Wow.
But that's what I'm kind of sticking with.
I haven't really got a massive plan for October, really, apart from like Resident Evil.
Yes,
I'm going to put that to like people to vote on if they want me to play it along with other games. But I think I'm going to get round to it anyway. I'm just going to keep putting it in a list until it gets picked because I've got the 3 Resident Evil games, and I'm really excited about playing those. Like I was saying this the other day on stream. That's one of the franchises that I feel like I'm an outsider to when everyone's talking about it and talking about the characters. And, oh yeah, Jill and all this, and I'm like, oh yeah, and you know, it's like that episode of Friends where Chandler wants to he ends up smoking again because he wants to be part of the group outside.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Resident Evil is that for me when people start talking about it and there's somewhat like all the characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, and you almost kind of want to pretend that you know because you want to be in with the group.
Yeah. Well, you feel like a bit of a fraud if you try and
I know, mingle in and be like, oh yeah, that bit in the game that happens. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, and I feel like I want to be part of that group now.
What's like in jokes when you hear stuff like, oh, he's almost a Jill sandwich.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that means. It means nothing to you right now.
I've seen bits of that game that I think I know I can piece together. I know there's a corridor with a dog because I played the GameCube version years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I've played bits there. So I remember bits. I don't know if I've ever completed it. I've definitely beat 0. So I've kind of beat those kind of games before.
Oh, okay. Because 0's really hard, That's quite a hard game, that one.
Well, I remember being really stuck on the train, trying to get off the train, and it took me ages. But I was playing like the GameCube version. So I don't know if the 0 one, the GameCube, was that a remake as well? I guess it was.
Resident Evil 0 was a GameCube exclusive.
Oh, was it?
It never, because originally Resident Evil was actually meant to be a Nintendo property at one point with Capcom.
Oh.
But obviously it kind of it fell through with arguments. There's a really good book called Itchy Tasty,
Oh, okay. I
and
want to
it
get
goes
that
to the
now.
whole history of it, and it was really interesting.
I'll have to get that now. As soon as I play these games, I want that book. So
You will want to look into it,
yeah,
but yeah, with the first one, I think you'll really enjoy it. I think you'll love the acting in the first game.
well, I can't wait.
It's so bad, but it's brilliant bad.
But one of the big reasons of wanting to play it, because everyone
Hmm.
goes on about Resident Evil 2 being one of the best games ever made, and it's always on lists. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't play that until I've played the original first one. You know?
yeah, it's best to because you get more backgrounds on characters.
Yeah,
You don't fully necessarily need to because you do follow some other characters that didn't exist in the first
yeah.
game
But
because
if
you're
it was you in the
following that
same,
thing.
if you were in the same boat, you would definitely do the first one first.
Oh, that's what we did.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we and Danielle did.
yeah.
We played for the Resident Evil on GameCube
Mhm.
first,
Nice.
and then I backtracked onto on the other ones. But I
Yeah.
have actually saying that I haven't done Resident Evil on the PlayStation. I did play it when I was younger, but I didn't done a
Oh, okay.
playthrough lately
Doesn't
because I
ask if
went
you
straight to
knew.
number
Right,
two and three.
because I've never really been not like interested in it. Just because I've been more of a retro person, like
Mm.
before PlayStation. Is the new ones or the new ones are they different than the GameCube ones? So the one that came out on like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, that remake is that different than the remake on the GameCube?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like if you look at Resident Evil, because if you get Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation, you got Resident Evil 2 on PS4.
Mhm.
They do like a different camera angle. It's done more of an action based one because the thing that makes the original Resident Evil game scary is the camera angles.
Yeah.
You can't change the camera, so if you're walking around a corner, you don't know what's around the next corner.
Hmm.
You can't just go, oh, let me just peek around this corner and have a look. If there's a zombie waiting for me, you don't know.
Oh
You've
wow.
kind of just
Yeah.
venture out because there's no way of changing the camera angle.
Mm.
So you kind of got to just venture forward and you're kind of walking to the unknown. And
Ooh.
that's the kind of bit, quite a big factor.
Yeah, and I suppose with the original one, that part of the horror of it is the other
Mm.
controls because
Yeah, tank controls
that's going to
I
be horrible
personally
for
got
me.
used to them. Yeah, it's one of the things you will get used to it, but the other reason why people love number two more than one, obviously, it's not. Don't do spoilers, but control wise, they did do a better job with the controls.
Ah, okay.
There's like a 180 button where you quickly turn around, which in the original one, there's a zombie behind you, and you're like, "There's a zombie behind me. Let me get you." Like that, and you have to kind of
Yeah, I
turn on
mean,
the
I think
spot.
that probably adds to the tension, though, doesn't it? Like,
It
you know
does,
what I mean? If
because
you
you
take that
can't
away,
rush
it's just
in.
like you're going through and just killing everything really quickly or whatever. You know, it's just probably
Yeah,
not
you
as
can't do that. It's
thrilling.
very like you see a zombie, right? A zombie's coming towards me, bang, 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 and it's still coming towards you, and then you might have to back away a little bit when you're
Yeah,
doing it. With more modern ones, you like put out the gun, you're shooting it
it's more
half a
FPS
dozen times, you're
style.
kicking
Yeah,
it, you're doing these sort of things. But in the
yeah.
first one, it's a lot more slow, and it's quite a lot of puzzles to it, but they're not horrible puzzles. Like think, what am I doing here? A lot of it is symbol based, or I will say though, you will be looking for keys for doors.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no,
You'll go up to a door and it'll say, you need the crest. And then you've got to find
no!
that.
Oh, that's my nightmare. That's
But
worse than
it's
zombies.
but then you have to get puzzles to get the key. Rather than just finding it in a random room, you'll do a puzzle to unlock to get the keys, things like that.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
pretty linear to a degree. You can go back on yourself quite a bit.
Yeah,
But the biggest fear of the game is you can only save at typewriters.
yeah,
You can only save so many times because you have to use an ink ribbon, and that's
yeah,
like so
yeah.
many
No,
you
that,
can
yeah.
use. Things like that, which is a bit like the GameCube. What you play
Yeah,
the
I
GameCube is
remember
sort of like
those
that.
elements. Yeah, I played
Yeah.
4 as well. I played the 4 on GameCube as well. Proved
Oh,
that.
that's good.
So
Yeah, that
that was
played
great.
very different to the others, but that's a very good
That
one.
was amazing. That was
Yeah,
proper horror. It was so good.
but
But yeah,
I
usual
am
stuff.
honestly so excited to see how you tackle situations in the
Mm.
game, especially when you panic on a bit when something's coming towards you or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, people.
I'm just. How long do you think it'll take to beat? Like you know, it's me.
Um, it might take a while. They're not short games, really. The first one is probably the shortest. Number two's longer because the reason why number two's longer, there's 2 scenarios.
Oh,
Like
okay.
so. Oh wow, do you not? Well, God, you really don't play the games, do you?
No.
basically you've got the Jill. Moment, the only thing is I keep the names mixed up. No, that's Claire Redfield, which is Chris Redfield's sister, which is in the first one, and then you get another guy, Leon, in it, which you know him from number 4.
Oh, so it's not the same. Oh god, I'm really bad at this, but it's not the same characters from the first one and the second one.
No, it's not. But they are related. There is all link backs to people, but they are different. But the thing is, because number 2, you play as Claire Redfield. You do her playthrough. You still get an ending, so you could actually mark that as like 2 game completions with that. So you play it through as Claire, which is classed as easier because there's little benefits with playing as her. You play one side of the story, and then on the PlayStation, but like you got a second disc, you got the Leon playthrough, and you will do similar stuff, but you'll be in areas that Claire didn't go to.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like a split story. Like,
so it's not
one
a case
character goes left, one goes right.
It's
almost.
not a case of like you get to pick one of the characters, and then when you complete it, you get to do it again with the other character. It's not like that. These actually go into the other character's story straight away.
Oh no! Well, you basically complete it. Say like on the PlayStation, you've got a Claire disc and a Leon disc. So you will do a full playthrough as Claire, but you won't get the full ending. You'll get an ending, but you won't get the full thing. There'll be bits missing, and you'll be like, "Oh, what happened to this person? What happened to this? What happened to that?"
Okay,
and
you still get credits. There's still the credits roll.
You still get credits. So technically, I said you can technically complete it twice and have it as 2 separate completions.
Off the list. Sounds good.
And then if you play as, I won't say the other benefits, but when you play as Leon, you then get his side of information. But then you play that part, and then because you get like Leon A and Claire B, and there's different scenarios. It's a bit confusing, but essentially it extends the game, which is, I don't know if it's a first of its kind, but it is very unique because you don't just complete and go, "Oh, I've done it now. What do I do now?" You then play the whole game again, but as another character with completely different routes, and more. You get more rewards as well for doing it.
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot. I'm made up to play. I don't know if I'll get around to playing the second one in October, because for me, like there's like a big list of games, and I think Resident Evil. I want to play Gremlins 2 when I hit a milestone on. I'm nearly at 3K on Twitch. So I was like, if I get that, I'll do Gremlins 2. It'd be nice to do because I want to do it every year, so I was going to do it anyway. But I would like to play Castlevania 3 because I've never played that before.
I've not played that one.
I think it's supposed to be like solid as well, and but I missed that. I missed the first. I love the first one. And I was like, I kind of feel like going back to that. And Castlevania 4 was amazing as well. So,
if you want a hint from what people told me, I've not played it. From what people told me, play a Japanese translated version of number 3. It's easier.
Oh, it's easier.
Yeah, I thought it'd be hard. It's actually easier.
I feel like that's got. Someone might have said that's got better music in it as well. Maybe I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. Might be. Because the reason why that was easier, you get a lot more hitboxes stuff on it. Because again, it's got that old-fashioned thing where when Castlevania 3 come out, the rental market, they made it harder on purpose for the West because they wanted people to rent it more, all that stuff. But with the Japanese market, people were just buying a game and playing through. Yeah. So that's why that one's easier.
I'm up for that. I wonder if it's on the Castlevania collection, the Japanese version.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it isn't. I'll be surprised if it isn't.
Might be quite good. So there's things like that I'm kind of like throwing in the mix this month, a bunch of stuff. And I actually really want to play Nightmare on Elm Street again at some point because I really like that game.
I really enjoyed you playing that as well because when I first saw it, and then the Angry Video Game Nerd just saying how bad the game is and all that. And then you played it, and I really enjoyed what you did of it, and it made me want to play it.
It's good, especially if you're a horror fan and you get to see like different versions of Freddy pop up and all that, and all the different powers you've got because it's riffing off. I think it's riffing off the third Freddy film, which is like the best one, and with all like the superpowers you have, like when you sleep and stuff. And I thought that's so cool.
Oh, the Dream Warriors?
Yeah, Dream Warriors, the best one. And so Freddy comes after you, and that bit's like the easiest part of the game, really, when you're fighting Freddy. But it's kind of cool to have Freddy in a game, and I think he did a good job, to be honest. I think it's quite spooky. It's got really good music. but
Yeah.
it did not like. I don't think it deserved all the vitriol that Angry Video Game
No,
did.
no.
You know, but whatever. Like, because it's one of those things. As soon as he reviews a game years ago that it's like it's bad or he thinks it's bad, everyone else just jumps on it and says, "Oh, that's bad, that game," without even playing it. And I was like the
Yeah.
same thing until I jumped on it and went, "Actually, this game is really,
Mm.
really addictive," and I wanted to get through it. So I could beat it last year. So I was thinking, it'd be nice to play it again this year and be one of those games to play, like, every year or something like that.
That's the problem because just saying because it's October, you kind of because there was actually a lot more horror games we actually look forward to want to play. That you go, oh, I want to play this, I want to play that, but it's only a month, and that month is going to fly by.
Exactly, because I had this
That's
whole
the
idea it'd be
problem.
great to get a bunch of streamers together and play 4-player on it. Somehow and just somehow connect, because that would have been great. All 4 people playing the Nightmare on Elm Street game and try and beat it, and like that would be chaotic as hell because I think you all share lives and stuff. But it would have been hilarious because it's 4-player. Like back in the day, that would have been ace. But we didn't get that game over
mad.
it, so we have to import it and stuff. So it's kind of annoying. But anyway, that is what we've been playing or what we're looking to play over October. Let's go through some news, right? No Halloween news, but straight up Flappy Bird. Remember that?
Yeah, I know quite a bit about this. Well, not quite a bit, but I know a little bit about what is going on here. It's a lot more controversial than it is. It's not the guy bringing it back.
I put a link there underneath on our notes because I was reading up on it and I realised, oh god. So yeah, so if anyone didn't know, Flappy Bird was this like mobile game sensation a good few years ago, where this one guy made this really addictive game where you're just a bird and you've just got to flap yourself around some basically Mario Brothers pipes. Yeah, let's not be honest. And it was really addictive, but he didn't like the fact it was really addictive, and he kind of shied away from it and just kind of stopped being a video game designer, give up, and just kind of got rid of the game. And so much so that people who still want to play the game really wanted to get copies of it, and iPhones and whatever phones it was on were selling for bucket loads if it had the game
just because it had that game on it. Yeah,
similar to like what happened with PT, I think, a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yes,
with the
same.
consoles and stuff. Yeah. So what has happened now is that the game is now been the rights for it have kind of been, let's say, bought up. I think it just ran out.
They expired, and someone else claimed the name.
Exactly. He was sitting there waiting for it to happen. And then this big announcement video saying Flappy Bird is back. And then if you look into it, it's like it's something to do with crypto.
Yeah, that's always goes over my head a bit. That's when I feel quite old, when I'm like, I still don't quite understand crypto coin stuff really.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially it was there. It's there to help sell a crypto coin. And I'm like, well, how does that work? So it is not. He made a big deal going, oh, we're back. Yeah, he's back after all these years. And the original creator's like, nothing to do with me.
Nothing,
and he can't do about it now because he's lost the rights to it.
And so, it's weirdly enough, though, because I've seen Flappy Bird in other guises. Like, it must have been just copies of it. Like, if you go to some arcades, they've got like a giant version of it in some places.
Yeah, big button and right press,
But I don't know if it is actually Flappy Bird in those places. I can't remember the name, if it's actually called Flappy Bird, but it's very similar. It's like the same game. But they're kind of reverse engineering it, I guess, and calling it something else.
Because he don't hold the rights to that style of gameplay. Yeah, just maybe. The game and the character.
Yeah.
So, but then, I think that's what I understand why buying it up and bringing it back out again. I don't think it's going to get people getting all nostalgic. Oh, I've got to get that again because there's been other versions since then.
Yeah, I mean, other games. It's like, because I've got no intention of playing it. I just thought it was an interesting story. Yeah. But it's like Farmville coming back and going, hey guys, Farmville's back.
Yeah.
People, it had its time. It was a little blip of like, that was interesting.
Farmville on Facebook. Oh, I love all that.
The same thing happened with Only Up. That game that was like last year, and the guy retweeted from that as well. I think there was other issues with that because of the content he was using to make the game. But he retweeted and went and got rid of it. But again, when that comes back, like Chained Together came out, and I was interested for a little bit of time, but it didn't have the stay of Only Up that came out last year, and everyone was playing it. These games just like, it's like pop music. They have the time in the sun, and then they kind of die. You know what I mean?
So like number one single in the charts type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And Flappy Bird is like one of those. It's a one-hit wonder. Yeah. That kind of isn't, I don't think for me, and it sounds like you, it's not one of those games where you think, oh yeah, let's go back and play that. Like Nintendo couldn't bring Wii Sports back. and that was a massive thing for the Wii.
Yeah, I didn't bother getting that newer one on the Switch.
When was the last time? I was saying when was the last time you played it? You didn't buy it, like.
No,
I got excited for it, and then I realized there's a reason why we stopped playing these games years ago. So, kind of like bringing it back, it's like same with when the whole big news about GoldenEye coming back. I was like kind of excited. I got caught up in the fuss of it, and then I was like, I've hardly played it because I stopped playing it years ago for that reason.
Yeah, it's a different type of nostalgia, isn't it? Because I think they want to be the same way as like, oh, remember playing Mario, remember playing this. It's not quite the same sort of, because I think we were in a different situation because mobile phones started having games on them. I know there was Java games way before these games.
Yeah.
But that's when it really kicked in, especially for the West. Oh, anything with a touchscreen game.
Yeah. It's a good time for it, wasn't it? It was perfect time.
Yes, because we always had it and tried it out.
But now you can play, like, I don't know, massive MOBAs on.
Oh, you can literally play Call of Duty online on your mobile if you wanted to. Or
is anyone going to go to Flappy Bird after that? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
everyone talks about Balatro these days, which I do actually want to try sometime because I think it's an accessible. That is it Balatro or Balatro, the card game? Do you know that game? A lot of people play it on mobile now.
Oh, right.
I don't know anything about it, but I know a lot of people over Twitch were playing it, and people on the Discord have been talking about it, and it's kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, I might try it. I might be able to go. Looks quite interesting. But yeah, if people playing things like that, I don't know if anyone's going to go back to Flappy Bird,
I think it's going to come out, people are going to try it, make a YouTube video over it, and then that's going to die a death. I
think it's died a death as soon as you attach the word crypto to it, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah, people are going to go, uh-oh, what's it going to do?
Exactly. Yeah. AI and crypto are kind of like the death knell of these things now. As soon as you mention those, I'm like, But anyway, the second news. Mobile phone has helped fully preserve a lost Professor Layton. You put this game in there.
Yeah, so this kind of goes... This actually goes off quite well off of Flappy Bird coming back. Basically, it's not just that game in general, back for that news part, but essentially in Japan, I was saying just before, the gaming market on mobile was massive. But we never saw this side of this part. The Western never saw this part. But there's a lot of games. There's a lot of like little side games. A Professor Layton game. It's not even. It's a conversion of the DS game or any of that. It's literally its own thing with its own story.
Wow.
And they were all Java based on these very like special flip phones. Again, wasn't Nokia's. It was some other crazy brand ones. And they brought out quite a lot of those. There's like a Mega Man one. It's all these separate little stories. But what it was, there's a whole thing going on where they're trying to preserve all these old games because once they came out, once the services went, you couldn't download them anywhere else. You couldn't just go online and write in, I want this, because there's a version of Resident Evil 4 on mobile.
Wow.
It's terrible, but but for the idea though was fantastic. Yeah. And because of that, the only way you can get these trying to preserve these old historical games, they're all regional license. They're not like they're like third parties. They're all like Capcom, Konami, all those,
and they're all exclusive titles. These ones, so they're not like ones that appeared elsewhere. Wow,
you couldn't get them anywhere else.
So it's not like the only way you can get them, Tomb Raider and things like that. It's like these are actual exclusive games.
Yeah, it's not like the Engage, because Engage was where we got the end part of it, where it was really a game we knew, just made to mobile. These were specially done for mobiles, but the only way you could even obtain them is if you download them at the time on that whatever special shop on the mobile, the app on the the app, that sort of thing. You can only grab it. But now, because it's not even available at all, the only way people are preserving it is they're going on like Japanese Yahoo auction and buying up tons of old phones.
Oh, just to check?
Yeah, just to get a phone.
Oh, my God.
Plug it in, see if it's got the game on it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they're actively looking for the phone with the game on, but they're actually buying random phones because
there's no way to know. Unless someone like, for example, that article where the guy actually had it and he kind of wouldn't give up the phone to do it, and then they finally preserved it. A lot of people, the only way they could even preserve, there's a whole history of these, but essentially they're buying up a massive lot of old mobiles, plugging them all in, seeing what's on there, And because the problem is also because the games weren't a complete game, because of the size of memory on mobiles back then, you got them episodic.
Yeah.
So you only had, say, example, that Professor Layton game. You only had like part 1 and 2 of that game, and after that, you couldn't play anymore because you have to download the next part. It might have been a time exclusive when it came out, or you literally simply your phone couldn't hold that amount of space on there. Wow. So what people would do is they would download episode 1, play it, delete it, then they'd download episode 2, play it, delete it, move on and on and on. Yeah. But the problem was obviously nothing was being saved. Yeah. Except from them odd people who bought the first episode on a mobile, played it, yeah, that's all right, moved on, but never took it off their phone.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
I wonder if in 2024 or this generation, we've got to that point where all the big games companies have realized that game preservation is super important. Even Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo are kind of the worst. Because if you think about it, it's like the way with the BBC, with the way they used to handle TV shows. Like, I was watching the Monty Python documentary recently, and the only reason that they had the early episodes of the Monty Python the show was because Terry Gilliam had took the reels because they were going to tape over them, basically reuse them.
Yeah, because it was too expensive, wasn't it, to buy new ones?
Yeah, so that's what they were going to do because they didn't have that thought process of this will be important later on. So I'm hoping now, even Nintendo, have got that in their heads because that's not that long ago. Where a Dr. Layton game, a Professor Layton game come out. That's insane. That's like that recent.
Yeah, because they're like 2000s and stuff, you know. And there's a lot of them. There's so many games that have that release, and it's not like it's a poor version of the PlayStation game. Or it's a poor version of I don't know, whatever console. It wasn't that at all. It was, and they were designed for the mobile. So you had a different story, and it's all within the laws and all that lot. There's Mega Man games that never came out. There's a whole collection of them.
And I wonder if that's again got stuck behind like the rights, you know. I don't know. Was it level 5? Who did the Professor Layton games? I can remember.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And I'm I wonder if like it was a Capcom for Mega Man and that. So I wonder if like there's rights behind all those, even if they do get preserved. You know, did they get shut down?
Well, that's the thing, because there's no way, but they haven't even got the originals, unless they've got them in some, like Indiana Jones style warehouse with all these preserved games.
It's to think, like, to be working on a game and thinking with no, like, forward thinking of, like, it's going to get preserved for the future. Do you know?
It was almost like vaporware, where it just, like, it brought it out, that's it, chuck it away. It's like a disposable camera.
Yeah.
Take the pictures, lob it, you know, you played it and moved on, but...
So this game... Is it playable now? You've preserved the whole entirety of this game now, of this Professor Layton game?
That's the thing. It's got so complex because the problem is every mobile, again, these are not your typical Nokia phones with the standard USB port. They've got strange connectors, like Sony Ericsson had weird connectors on them. So they're having to buy these phones up, check the games even on the phone. Once they've got that, they've then got to find a way to get it onto the computer to preserve it, because you can't just connect a phone, these old phones, to a computer and go drag these files across. They have to hack the phones and get. It's mad. It's mad. It's a lot of work for literally. It's down to the passion of it, because there's no money.
It's amazing that people are doing this, and hopefully, like, it'll get to some playable state online. Because the only thing we've got, the only site where we have stuff like this is Abandonware, and you can go there. I remember trying to get them, but they're never really in a great working state. I wish they'd somehow get them to GOG, and GOG acquires the rights for these games, and then they're able to make little boxes for people to play them. But I remember I was looking for some game that came free with like Frosties or whatever, and it was like Tony the Tiger, and I wanted to play that. And I was like, it was just a nightmare to get it to download and run it, you know. And I was like, I wish someone would just take all these things and make them playable, you know.
And that's what they're trying to do, the mobile games, but they're going to try and make them so they're actually playable as well on some sort of emulator, because they're not just a NES game put onto a mobile. They are
featured games.
They're all Java based and things like that on there.
Okay, next bit of news: new Doom cheat code surfaces after 27 years. I haven't looked at this bit of news, so if you put this in, have you looked at it?
I didn't look at this one. because I just saw it. But it was weird because it sort of came out when that article came out. That was when you were playing Doom.
I always say, oh yeah, which you know what? Weirdly enough, I talked about it extensively in the last bloody episode, and then like it's lost because I was like, I the whole thing about me, enjoying and kind of enjoying Doom for the most part, but also being really stressed out. So yeah, did a tweet that goes out about this cheat. Here's a cheat code for the Saturn version. It was a Saturn version of Doom that I think has gone unnoticed since 1997. We pause the game and you press X right, B Y X right, and B and Y. How the hell did he find this out, by the way?
Yeah, I know. Well, it'd be
Wow.
sat there going, right, we tried A. Right, now let's try X.
Yeah.
Right, now let's try B.
You think maybe they did it by accident, or there was some way, or they were doing some kind of assisted tool through it or something?
They might have gone into the back-end code and seen something with a code. They did into the Matrix, I don't know.
So apparently the walls will become semi-transparent, so you can see through everything. I mean, after playing Doom recently, that's actually quite a good thing. You can see where hidden weapons are and things like that, and what hidden enemies, and that's quite a good little thing. So they've said on the Time Extension website, the Saturn port of Doom isn't thought of in especially fond terms by fans of the series. This is a cool little bonus feature, and the fact that it's taken almost 30 years to find.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's pretty cool.
So there's one person out there knew that, well, the people within ID software, whoever, knew of that cheat, and they're probably thinking, oh, no one's discovered it yet. Or they've done it, forgotten after all them years. Someone's done it again. Oh yeah, I forgot we put that cheat in there.
Maybe it wasn't a cheat. Maybe it was something for the testers or something to use. Maybe
9 out of 10 original cheats were dev tools, weren't they? Really, they were just like level select was for people who were developing a game that weren't very good at it, and they were like, "Can we go to the next level?" That's what that was about.
We used a lot of that stuff because I wasn't very good. Okay, next bit of news. That's interesting, isn't it? Like 30 years later. I mean, they could be finding loads. I bet there's like stuff in Mario games that we haven't found yet. You know?
Well, there's one in Alien. Alien Trilogy on the Alien Resurrection on the PlayStation. There's basically a cheat where the devs put it in. I don't know why they did it. I didn't read into it too much, but essentially the reason why that game has rocketed in price because you can use that game to play backup versions of games.
I felt like we talked about that on the very first podcast.
Did we?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about it.
Oh, I can't remember now.
I remember sort of, unless we were just talking about it just outside the podcast, probably. But I remember us having a chat about that. But it's it's interesting, isn't it?
Cut that bit out then.
No, it's in. I think there's people like listening to that right now, and I forgot about it, so it was a good bit of information. But you just reminded me. Okay,
it's just that sort of situation.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but things are going to get unveiled like years later. I mean, it's quite exciting, isn't it? Okay, Rule of Rose, new old stock found now. How much is this game? And you own a copy of this, don't you?
No, I wish.
No,
I've played it, but I played it via Free McBoot. I borrowed it from a friend.
Yeah, that's what he did.
That's it. Yeah, sorry. The friend's called Free McBoot.
So I went down for friends years ago. We used to do this other gaming thing, and he had a copy of it. He was
really.
He's loaded. He's very much loaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of those people. But he had a copy of it, and I was like, oh yeah. But at the time, I was like, oh yeah. But now I'm like, oh my god.
Well, I guess if you're not in the know, it's like anything that's worth value which you don't know about. You look at it and it's in a PlayStation case. It's like I picked this up. This game here. It just looks like this.
Yeah.
Manual and disc and that. And it's like, well, right, what's the big deal? But there is a massive load of history behind it and why that one is worth money over others.
How much is it worth? Do you know?
The last time I looked, it's about £450, £500 plus.
It's not for a disc. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because discs can die and get scratched easily and all that. Like I don't know. I don't understand it at all really for that price. But when it's a cart, I don't even know why I would think that because it's like they're both kind of
the same thing really.
Yeah.
You say that it's because, but then you've got more. You can understand the value of a cartridge more because of its age. You see CD, even though CDs have been out since, did they get developed in the early 80s or
80s,
late 70s? It's all right.
80s,
you think of that as like modern technology to a degree. The cartridge, like, wow, look at, after a circuit board, you play it on that rather than just a disc. And also, it's just burnt on a disc.
Mm-hmm.
It's not got no parts to it.
Yeah,
So it
that's
kind of
true.
feels like that.
But it's just
But
like
yeah,
I think also with like a PlayStation 2 game or whatever, they just look
yeah.
so bare bones for that
Yeah, very
price.
generic looking. They follow the same structure, especially PlayStation 2 games in Europe. In the US, they're a little bit more
Bit more to it.
interesting, but essentially
Yeah.
all their spines are white with black text. The either rule of rose is the same.
400 quid though. Like I would never pay £400 for something like that. I'd never do
I
that.
wouldn't. The reason why, because it was a bit of a strange controversy. It was a mixed up controversy with they thought it was relating to bad things happening to children, and
Mm,
and there's a teacher in it, but it's not that at all. It's the people that first saw it didn't actually understand what the game was properly about, and then it sort of then leaked out to all the shops who were going to stock it. They went, oh, what? There's something that's
yeah.
harming children. We can't stock that. And so it wasn't actually banned. They say the game was banned. It wasn't actually banned. It was the shops refusing to sell it because of what they thought was
Yeah.
the content of the game.
It started to get a reputation at the time.
Then he got a reputation, and
Yeah.
then that's why. And the reason why this is interesting, the new article this has come out, is because in Italy there's been a whole basically new old stock has been found,
Huh.
and like anything, when a game is rare, but they find 50 more of them, the value of that goes down because there's more in circulation.
Mm.
Even though they say like, oh yeah, there's a load new games appeared, it's still expensive. It's still like 350 quid. It's not like you're going to get it for
Oh right.
30 quid.
Because this makes it sound like they found loads. There's gonna be enough to go
Yeah,
round.
you better have a free
Oh.
game, or even if the game was like 60 quid, which is still a lot of money for a game. It's 60 quid, but it's not. It's still in the hundreds,
Is this
just
not
not as
available
high.
digitally at all? Then is you cannot buy it
No,
online.
it has some strange copyright on it as well. I can't remember what it is with that part of it, but essentially, I think I can't remember who actually brought the game out now. Oh, this is not. I think it's Capcom. I think
Do
I
you know
could be
what?
wrong.
Like,
Ignore me. I'm not sure.
regardless of this game, I
Yeah,
really, really want a day where PlayStation just start putting all their games online, or just get an online
yeah,
service like Nintendo have an online service.
yeah.
I want Sony
They
to do the
kind of
same thing.
have, but it's not very good.
They put some of their games on Steam, but I want
Yeah,
I want a place where I can kind of log in and without having a PlayStation and
yeah,
access the full breadth of all of their titles. I think we just got to that time now where I think that's just a good idea for them. The way
yeah,
Microsoft have got Game Pass and all that stuff. I don't need an Xbox to play Xbox games. I feel like the same thing should happen with Sony now. I feel like we shouldn't have you can have a PlayStation 6, but I think at that point they should make a move to be digital as well.
yeah. Just for like to like, we can play these older games, and people will buy it up, and it's got to be low effort by them.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, like they're not making a new game.
That segues us onto like the PlayStation 5 30th anniversary version. Now,
Hey,
in the last podcast, in the Lost
yes.
podcast, we talked about
Oh yeah.
the price of the Pro, which is like really expensive. And it priced me out. I was like, I'm not going to get a PlayStation at all.
No.
And then I saw the anniversary version. I was like, ooh, that's really nice. That's really nice. It just appeals to you. It was a retro gamer, or there's the nice grey effect, and the controller looks really nice, to be honest. And I'm still not going to get one because it's still pricey. And I think it might have come out and maybe sold out already or something. I saw reports.
People are selling pre-order confirmed on eBay. Apparently, I don't know how legit. Well, I don't know how legit they are, but they're going. And this is in America, though.
Yeah.
It ranges from $1,500 to $4,000 pre-order confirmed.
Yeah, to get three of them.
Just get all three of them. Yeah,
just two fall down the stairs. There's someone on the way up. Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, the controller is the standout thing for me. It looks really
that's
nice,
what I would like to get at least. If that was, I wouldn't want to pay it. But if it's like 50 quid,
yeah,
I would go for that.
Yeah.
If it's 70 quid, nah.
Do you have a PlayStation 5?
I don't have one, no.
So you need a PlayStation 5 as well. So it's not just 50 quid. You know what I mean? It's like the
but you can use it. You can use it on PC.
Oh, can you? Oh, yeah, I suppose you can.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what?
You don't need to be a PS5.
Forgot about that. Oh, don't tell me that.
There you go. Yeah, you use it on stream. That'd be great, and you could be like, "Oh, look at my controller."
See, if Sony had its own store and all that stuff, then I'd be well more inclined to be like, "Of course, I'll do that." but they don't. So yeah, that's all kind of a bit annoying. But I was kind of impressed with that, with the kind of, because I know people complain online, going, everyone can play that, but the Pro, but then and everyone really wants the other one. It's like, well, that's how products work. We get excited or not excited. That's what it is. Something appeals or it doesn't appeal.
It is. In the day, we got people going, oh, that's ridiculous. Why would I want to get that? And then other people just like, oh, I want that. I need that. I want to get that, because that's what they love. And in the day, like, I don't mind people saying they don't like it, but it's not very fair when they just sort of say, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, who'd want that? And it's like, well, you might not want it, but other people will.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And in a day, it's a business. And if they want to charge crazy money for it, I just don't agree with scalpers reselling their stuff on for even more money. That's what I don't agree on. But
And to be honest, the whole PS, because I think when we reiterate quickly what we said last time round, for me, I'm just waiting for the next Switch system, or and if I didn't get that, I'd probably get a Steam Deck at this point. You know, one of those things.
Yeah. I think you like Steam Deck. Yeah, I played with Super's Steam Deck.
Can you plug that into a TV as well? Steam Deck.
Yes.
So it's kind of ideal.
You can plug a keyboard and mouse into it. It's literally a PC in a handheld.
Yeah. It's probably a better PC than what I'm using right now, and that's the thing. And it's got access to your whole. Well, is it your whole Steam library, or some games won't work? Because
they say that there is a thing where it checks if it's available to work, but I think most of the big titles you want to play, or even in indie titles, will work because it's another market for them to go, right, this also works on the Steam Deck. So
I would worry, like, if I got a Steam Deck, that I wouldn't want to switch. But I don't know, the exclusives, the Nintendo with their exclusives kind of keeps you there.
Exclusives is what you keep coming back for.
We did actually mention about the Switch too, because we looked at the new visuals, and we were kind of...
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
I was kind of saying, like, we kind of knew it was going to be a new version of the second Switch, you know, a new version of the Switch, because that's what they're going to do, you know.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited for that anyway. So more news. Slightly one more bit of news. We got the remasters of Soul Reaver. I never played these, but I've seen them. And they look great. But it doesn't look like that much of a remaster, the Soul Reaver games.
Yeah, I've got because it came out on Dreamcast and PlayStation.
Yeah.
If you play the Dreamcast version, it's got higher resolution graphics, and not being funny, but it's kind of that's how the remaster looks. Is how it kind of looks on Dreamcast to a point. And the old version on PlayStation.
When I hear about a remaster of a game that's come out on PlayStation, I'm immediately in my head, I'm thinking Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. And when you see Soul Reaver, it doesn't look like those.
No.
Right, does it?
Well,
it's a different type of game. It's not cartoony in the same way, but still, like medieval, I guess, is like
that's another good one. Well, that's it. It's that complete graphic overhaul. It looks like the same game, but completely new graphics. This one is like, let's just smoothen that bit
it's
up.
Like 1.5, I guess. 1.5.
Yeah.
And it's also it's going to be an easier way to play these games, I guess. Although I don't know if they're available on like the consoles PlayStation Store already.
I don't actually know. I'm not sure, to be honest.
But it's one of these games always look really cool to me, so I'd kind of want to have a go with them, you know. So I'd probably do it. You've put front page of Twitch on the news.
Oh yeah, I was meant to talk to you before we started the podcast. I was going to ask you if you wanted to talk a little about what happened.
So if anyone doesn't know, we're both Twitch streamers, and I mean everyone listens to this probably knows we're Twitch streamers now. Who's streaming quite a bit. And last Tuesday, because if you're a partner on Twitch, you get the opportunity to apply to be on the front page. You can apply, and then once you've done it, you can't apply for another 3 months. But that basically puts you on the front page carousel. That means I get a lot more eyeballs on you. And so I did. Like I had one of those opportunities. I was very thankful for, very appreciative of it, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Like I had up to like 4,000 people watching.
I was going to say, because you've got 2 point of view. You got the view when you're seeing new people coming in, but I'm not obsessed with numbers, but I was obsessed with you seeing your numbers. I was at work, right? I've got to say this. I can't normally look at your stream. I can only listen to it. But I thought, right, I knew you was on front page today. So I went on there, and on your starting up screen, it said 2K viewers. And I went, pardon me, out loud, in echoed, and I was like, it just took me by surprise. I was like, oh my God, you haven't even technically started yet.
The funny thing is, I don't have numbers on at all, and you're
No,
the
I
same.
know. So I
I
knew
say
that. I
that
was
anyone
thinking,
who's a streamer,
oh,
like if you definitely start out, don't have numbers on because it just wrecks you.
no. Yeah.
But I didn't have numbers on, and because I didn't have I thought I'd get an email from Twitch like the day before saying, "Oh, reminder, you're gonna have this on,"
Oh,
and
and
did
you
not get
didn't.
a reminder. So I was a little bit worried, thinking this is not going to
Oh,
happen. So when I was in the starting screen, I was chatting to people. And I was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if it's going to happen today, but let's see what happens." And someone in the chat said, "Steve, it's definitely happening." And I was
it
like,
was. Yeah, you could very tell it was.
but it was great. It was like quite frantic. Got a lot of new followers and stuff like that. Do you know what the thing that was quite interesting about it? And I never talk about the financial side of things of Twitch and all that stuff. But the thing that was quite telling for me is that um, ads are worth it for streamers, especially the higher up you go, especially if you got those kind of numbers. Because we as streamers,
Really?
we as streamers, like we have to play ads wherever you have like a pre-roll if someone's coming in, or you play them every hour like I do. So I like to have control of when the ads are playing, like a TV show or something like that, so so you can tell people ahead of time rather than them being bombarded when they first come in. But the more people you've got in your stream who watch the ads, obviously the more money you're getting. So it was like at the end of it, it was like £60 just from
Oh,
ads,
wow.
just from ads.
Normally
And I
we
was
get
like,
10p.
it's nothing when you're small street. It's like nothing. But then it made me think those people who stream for like 12 hours,
Yeah.
12 hours. I only did like an 8-hour stream or something. But the people who stream for 12 hours and they get like 15,000 people, they can do really well off just the ads.
Yeah,
Which is incredible.
they haven't got to rely on subscribers
No,
for that point of
which
it.
is quite amazing,
Wow.
really. It does show you kind of like where you can kind of like you go, as a streamer. Like, because obviously we're all trying to make it as a bit of our career as well, which is like it's a great thing. Why? But it made me kind of appreciate as much as like ads are a necessary evil. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
necessary and they do help us out as well because that change does add up at the end of the month. But imagine if it was that change, it would like, oh, that would really help.
But
Like,
the only thing is, though, the only thing I thought did it feel a bit sad because I don't know if you ever look at your summary report at the end of the stream that always notifies you after you finish stream. I don't know if you looked at because the thing is, right, you have a good stream, right? This is kind of my point of view. And for example, say I had like a raid and it was like 100 people. You see, you got a green arrow going plus 100 people, and you go wow, and then you go on next day and it's like minus 90 people.
Yeah, I can't
that
wait.
must have been horrible the next
I
day.
can't wait till a month goes because like, my analytics go like this.
I meant to say, yeah,
You can't even see the other numbers. You can just see this giant bar.
Yeah.
And, and I can't apply for the front page thing again until like I think it's like December or January, and then it's like the look of where you get it again. And yeah, it's like I think it's definitely a massive opportunity for like partners.
Yeah, it's opened up the my eyes with it in a sense of I didn't realise how much of an impact it was going to have because I know you sort of said from speaking to other people it might get some good high numbers just because of where it is. And I'm thinking, yeah, I guess. But when I personally see the carousel, I don't really check that out because normally, again, massive people. I just assume them people that have them numbers on are huge people anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that's now kind of gone. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they are.
Yeah, a couple of them are going to be from like special guilds and things like that, and then this opportunity and the bigger people. So it's good. Obviously Twitch want to make money, so they're going to put like the majority of the time they're going to put the biggest names on there or whatever.
Yeah.
If you go into incognito mode, the ones you're going to see the side, the ones who are going to bring in a lot more people. The people that we kind of don't know, weird enough. But you know what is a bit of Twitch news here for you? That'd be quite good for you and other people if you want to be part of it.
I think I might know what this is. Go on.
So now Twitch are going to give us free socks and no, that's not
purple socks. Make sure they're purple.
Raids count towards your partner progression. Did you know this? Yeah.
I literally, weirdly enough, I don't know what like with X. Twitter, I get random suggestions on tweets. Yeah, like, I never follow this person, and I get this random. And today's one was literally someone saying, "I don't feel like I've earned my partner because now apparently raids count towards your partner, and don't feel like you've earned it." And there was a whole discussion on that.
Oh no, I think it's brilliant news.
But I think in the day, if you've got someone who's got a high number who wants to raid you, then obviously you've got a nice relationship, and still, it's still you still earn it that way, surely.
Amazing,
But
yeah.
you know the in and outs of it, because that's literally all I
Yeah.
know is that raids count.
Like, I suppose in a way that they're looking at it, it's kind of made it easier now for people to
Yeah,
become partners. But what it really does, what it should do, is it encourages more streamers to want to network.
yes, yeah.
And that's the thing.
That's the first thing I thought
And
of.
that's great for Twitch, because Twitch want that.
Yeah,
They're doing that thing called the streaming together, and or they want people
mm,
to kind of collaborate and do more stuff. So this is probably another one of those things for them to say, well, isn't it better if we want people to raid with people? That means people will be more friends with other people, and people want to raid them
yeah,
to help them out. And it's just more of more connections with people. That's brilliant. So like that means more partners and more people taking Switch seriously. As soon as you get that check mark, they take it a little bit more seriously because they'll feel a bit more validated. I think
yeah,
that's going to be great. That's going to be great. It's just better
yeah,
for Twitch overall and better for the more connections with people, because it's not Twitch is not really about getting that check mark. It's about building a community. So
yeah.
if that
Because at the end
helps
of the day,
you,
yeah.
if that helps you
Well,
feel like you can build a community, it validates your position at that point, then that's great. Honestly, that's brilliant. And it
'cause at the end
gives
of the
you the
day,
right mindset to get there as well. That's the thing.
well, that's it. It's like we're like, for example, you can get the tick, but it doesn't mean you're always guaranteed to get so many viewers, because you still got to have them viewers in the first place. And
Exactly.
you could have the tick and still stream with like 30 people, which is a lot. You know, it's not for me, but 30 people might, like, you know, for a partner, you would assume, oh, they're going to have hundreds always because they're a partner. It's not that, because you know you still got to have that community on
Still
there.
work, yeah, still work. And a lot of
Yeah,
people on Twitch go alone, and this might encourage them to go,
yeah,
actually, it's better if I just go and find people to be friends with. And that's great, because, I've met so many amazing people from Twitch. And if that encourages other people to do the same
yeah,
thing and befriend other people, that's brilliant. And it's a positive win for everybody, because I get more connections, you get more of a
mm,
chance to be a partner, and you can build your community because you'll feel more validated. Brilliant. But yeah,
yeah.
I can guess why some people might feel like that. But you know what? It's going to change every year. These things, the
Well,
goalposts are going to change every year. It doesn't matter.
Well, even at the very beginning, when Twitch, I don't know, not very early Twitch, you could you could apply for partner. That's it, and
Hmm.
you've got it.
Yeah,
I know someone who's got, I won't say their name, but they've got the partner tick, but they literally just applied for it back in the day, and they got it.
yeah.
Didn't have to have so many viewers, didn't have to have so much across a month, how many hours. They just went, right, you want to apply for partner? And that was the early days. So
Well, like
back then,
you never think, oh, take it away from them or whatever. You're just like, that's just
no,
the
that's it.
time they got it. It's fine. It's like
Yeah, and
it's not
that's their
really about
thing,
the
you
check
know?
mark. It's about your mindset and what you do with
Yeah.
it. So I think it's great, and I think it's just like a great opportunity to hopefully get other people kind of a bit more enthusiastic about that path.
And yeah, just
So
encourage more people to want to do that, because some people just don't like to do raids out. They just like, oh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or they don't want to network and stuff because I don't know, for whatever reason. But I mean, it's good because you get like the friends. I just hope this system doesn't get abused in any way.
I can see
Where
what you're saying, where people might
you know,
like
yeah, I
charge
don't
for
want to talk about the
raiding.
dark side of it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
there's all that stuff, but I think Twitch has probably got enough, I don't know, fail safes behind it and
yeah,
guides to kind of stop that from happening. Hopefully,
mm.
anyway, or enough people will find out. But anyway, I think overall it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
there's so many other people. I'm like, oh, great, you got more of a chance to get there now. Like, I would love
Mm.
for you to get there, next. So that's it. But it's again, this is a good thing.
Yeah,
So anyway, I'm not gonna. We had a bit of other news, but we're not going to go for those because we're going to go
no.
to the questions before we can end this. So I'm going to pick out a random question here. Right, this one is from Zelda Man 1234. What a name!
I know. Great.
Right, do you reckon I think it's going to be a Zelda-rated question. Is The Legend of Zelda overrated or underrated?
I know, what a loaded question. Okay, easy one.
Is that
No.
like yeah, no. Have you talking about the whole series? I guess he's not talking about the original. He's talking about the whole series, isn't he?
I think he's talking about it in I think he was talking about it in general.
I am so okay. This is probably only going to answer this one question because I am so excited. I really want to play the new game. And I've seen bits everywhere, and it looks great. And I'm trying to stay away from it. And I'm like, oh, but I really want to play it. So it's not overrated. I think they're doing exciting things where they're trying out things now, which is great.
It's very good.
Oh, I'm really excited to play it.
I want to play it as soon as I come off.
I put on my thrones, but to be honest, I'm probably gonna if nothing comes of it, I'm just gonna ask Lynn for it for Christmas, basically. And
well, did you enjoy Link's? Did you play Link's Awakening?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. So if
you like that, you'll love this.
I think that was like the best Zelda game that's been like Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't been back to it. I've played a good chunk of it.
I haven't.
I want a smaller experience like Link's Awakening, and that's what I wanted. So
apparently, it's quite a big game, but because it's that isometric top-down view, it feels a little bit. It doesn't feel as daunting.
No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Because it doesn't feel like a big giant open world because you're a bit close to it and it's a bit cartoony and it's a bit kind of like a 16-bit-ish kind of like SNES style thing. You know, it's not, but you know what I mean. Link's Awakening didn't feel like that. It didn't feel overwhelming as best. That's the thing.
Yeah, and you feel like you want to venture out in it. The new mechanics, obviously I won't talk too much about it, but the new mechanics did scare me at first, but they do get you in there gradually and it makes sense once you start playing it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to play it. Let's fit in another question anyway. Okay, there's a really weird one, but I'm not reading that one. Okay, Sirash asks, have you heard about the ET game and what a disaster it was, and do you want to play it if given the time? Now, the ET game has been talked to death. You didn't know it was like notably for to a lot of outlets the death.
Video game crash.
It was already crashing because so many other third party companies were coming out with their own Nintendo games, and too many rubbish games were coming out, so everyone was just getting burned. It was only because it was a high profile game, because it was behind a massive movie, and Steven Spielberg was kind of endorsed it, and then it came out for everyone at Christmas, and everyone realized it's a bad game, and it was made in like 3 weeks.
But that's it for one guy.
Yeah, and I think it's great for it's a bad game, but it's a good game for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And it's horror, and I just quite like it. The first time I played it around to a cousin's back in the day when he had it. And I remember like playing it, thinking I like this. He didn't, but it's one of those cases where you were around to a friend or and you play a game that you don't own and you want to play it. But they've lived with it for a bit, and they're like, oh yeah, they didn't like it, but I was like, oh, this is cool. But I do remember falling in a pit a lot. Like I do remember that.
They got to hold back up again.
And it's really, it's frustrating, but it's nowhere near the worst game ever. And
it's overblown, isn't it? Like the way the media and like I don't really harp again about YouTubers, but when YouTube does a video on it and everyone just sticks by that rule, it's really bad because that person said it was bad.
What's the name of the guy? Howard. I want to say Howard Warshaw. Is it? Who developed that game?
At the end of the day, also
Howard Scott Warshaw. Yeah.
Also, you got to remember, there wasn't much to work with.
No.
Like graphic wise.
That 3 weeks. I mean, he did like one of my favorite Atari game. He developed Yours Revenge, which is
did he?
Game. Yeah,
that's a bit of a difference, isn't it?
A massive, awesome game. But and then he got he had to do that in 3 weeks. It's like what he did was fine, But yeah, I just actually bought his book on Audible. I think I got on Audible, so I'm going to listen to that soon. Yeah, it's supposed to be really good about his time with Atari. So it'll be interesting to get to that point. Right, another question before we go. Let's have a look. Okay. This is from Mike. Did we do it from Mike? No, we haven't had Mike. What's one game from your childhood you'd love to see get a full-on AAA remake?
Let you start.
I would love. I mean, I talk about my favorite game all the time. I'd love a new version of the old Shadowrun game from the SNES, but they have made Shadowrun games.
It's not the same, though, is it?
It wasn't the same game. No, it wasn't the same. I'd love them to just remake it, but again, I don't know what I'd want from it. That's the thing. Sometimes these games we love from the past. Why do you want them remade? There's probably another reason why you'd want it remade. So maybe not, because that was kind of good for what it was. Because I think Spyro and Croc and all those ones, they look like beautiful and kind of remakes of those. But I don't know.
I think the biggest thing I would say that would probably be nice for something to be remade is define controls and try and pick out the issues we had with it. For example, like bad checkpoints in a game or something like
Yeah.
that, or a way to save where you couldn't save.
It's like the Mario All Stars where I fixed like some of those games on there, or fixed, but they give us it's this nice kind of quality of life thing we can save at certain parts of the game we couldn't do before, like Mario 3 and all Lost Levels. And that's quite good. But nothing comes to mind. Like I kind of like the idea of like going back and redoing the first Mario Kart, but still making it look like the way it looked in the same. Not like don't make it look like a new Mario Kart, but like add like online multiplayer where there's like more characters and they've got maybe upgrades to them or something like that. Do something fun like that.
Well, do like Mario Kart 8 style where you get better tires or.
But again, I wouldn't want it to look like a AAA title. That's the thing. I still want it to kind of embody that kind of retro spirit, but with some modern mechanics. So it probably wouldn't be a AAA title if like what they're talking about, because they're probably thinking of something like massively spruced up. And I don't know, I've just at the point in my life where I don't really want to play any games like that anyway, because they just don't interest me because of the sheer scope of them.
Because they tried to have a few. Bionic Commando got a remake, didn't it, on 360?
Yeah. And actually, the 2D one. Or the Rearmed or the actual 3D?
Oh, no, they actually did a full-on 3D one of it.
One. Yeah, I saw that one as
well.
And
you think, that should be great, because it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So it's that. And again, Splatterhouse was another one. They made it into free, which actually ain't a bad game, but it's not how you want it to be, I don't think.
Alter Beast could be quite interesting, you know?
Alter Beast has been remade in 3D on PS2, and it was terrible, apparently. I've not played it, but it's meant to be...
Yeah, let's not do this then.
I was going to say Croc, but they're really working on it. But
that one that looks
Yeah.
I will comment on it when it's finished.
Well, that's it. As I say, yeah. So it's a bit of I think, to be honest, at the end of the day, what we love about the old games is what we loved about them back then. I don't think I really want remakes of other games, to be quite honest. That's my proper answer. It's probably no, there isn't anything really, because it won't live up to the original. Because you always go, well, it's not as good as this, and then you're like, but
I would love a really good version of Micro Machines. Bring back Micro Machines, and every time they've done it, there's always something weird about it that like goes, oh, why did you do that? You know?
Yeah. That's a good one, actually.
Actually, bring it back. Like Micro Machines 2 is my favorite Mega Drive game, and I'm thinking, why have they not like brought that back? Don't do isometric, do on top like they used to with cartoony cars, and do it really simple, but just have like some online play. Have again the same thing before, upgrade your cars or whatever, and some time trials and this like it's like the same thing.
That'd be a good one, actually. Yeah,
same
keep
thing
the
with Bomberman, isn't it? They kind of bring Bomberman back, but then they wreck it for some reason. They take out. It's the most simplest thing, Bomberman, and then they just do something weird to it. Where they go, why did they do that? Why did they make it isometric? When I don't understand. But Micro Machines,
they don't want it to look like the original, I guess. Exactly. Make it stand out.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Plunger, for joining me again. If you got a question for the podcast, please again list it down below, or if you're on the Spotify, give us a question there. I will never see it there, but I always say that.
Have you checked the other ones yet?
No, not at all. So always go to the YouTube if you want to leave us a comment. I'll get used to it or something like that. But if you want to find Plunger on Twitch or his YouTube channel, those links are below as well as mine. But until next time, we're going to have a lovely time at the weekend, hopefully. It's going to rain, doesn't it? It's going to pour down at the weekend, apparently. But it's Blackpool, what do you expect,
Yeah. Well, we won't know until the next podcast, and you get to find out all the information.
Will it be grey and wet? Probably will do. Thanks, everyone. See you later. My hand's like stuck in my pocket here. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.